So we're back here continuing our NFL preview. So we're gonna preview the Baltimore Ravens. I call them my Beltway brethren, or as I call them often, the guys from the Avenue. Try to enter my inner Baltimore voice, but of course I got my guy Matt from the Flock the North podcast. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to talk some Ravens.
Yeah, so we got to definitely talk about the boys from the Avenue. So, and very interesting off season that you guys have had. Obviously, just to think of the man, guys, like Hollywood Brown's no longer there. The situation with Lamar Jackson and the contract extension talks and all that. A lot of stuff has happened in the off season. So, Matt, which one your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens? Their off season, and then just also what do you deem as the team's biggest acquisition?
Oh man, we made some pretty solid moves in the offseason, some surprising moves that I didn't think was really going to happen. It always seems like the team is tight against the salary cap, and it seems like it is the case year after year after year. And I was excited about Morgan Moses. I know he's a little bit long in the tooth at 30, and I know that's young for us, but in football years that's a little on the older side of things. I like the Morgan Moses addition. My favorite addition to the team was free safety Marcus Williams, who came from the New Orleans Saints, and he was graded out by Pro Football Focus as one of the top free safeties the last 3 years when it comes to overall graded performances. I really like that. Couple surprising things over the offseason. Obviously, trading Hollywood Brown on draft day and just seeing how that played out. We ended up drafting Tyler Linderbaum with that pick, who is a center right now. He's hurt for us currently. He's out for a couple of weeks. But my favorite acquisition so far has been Marcus Williams. I think that he sets the defense up to where he can play center field and allow Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters to be the cornerbacks that they are, and not have to change their style of play or their game for anybody. And then drafting Kyle Hamilton while keeping Chuck Clark. It's going to be different defensively. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. We had close to 30 injuries last year. A lot of them were either starters or major contributors off the bench. But I like the Marcus Williams move, man. I was really excited to see him here. We gave him a lot of money. We've invested a lot of money in safety since Ed Reed retired. So that's what's got me the juices flowing a little bit is Marcus Williams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then also, getting a guy like Cal Hamilton kind of fall in your lap. So that's kind of the thing I think I look at that I like. What you guys did, especially from the draft perspective. So, going into the season, like I kind of alluded a little bit earlier, but also, what do you deem as the biggest storyline heading into this season?
Not to sound cliche or beat a dead horse, it's obviously Lamar Jackson. He had he was an MVP consideration until he got hurt last year, and we didn't win a game without him. The contract situation is looming. This kind of feels like, if you're a Ravens fan, this kind of feels like deja vu all over again. 10 years, 11 years later with Joe Flacco. We offered him a contract before the 2012 season. He turned it down. Said he wanted to bet on himself in his contract year. He went and won it all, and ended up being the first 100 million plus quarterback. And now here we are a decade later, and if this is deja vu all over again, Lamar might be the second $50 million a year quarterback. A lot of fans don't understand that this is a business and he's got to maximize his earnings while he's able to play this game. I'm not on that bandwagon that says running quarterbacks can't win, but his style of play isn't sustainable long term, as you've seen down the Beltway with Robert Griffin and Michael Vick. I mean, I know he had a 4-year break in his career, but it's generally looked down upon. I think Lamar Jackson is one of the best overall football players in the entire NFL. He's a top 10 quarterback. But that's the biggest thing that I think is going into the season is what to expect from him in a bounce back year. We finally fixed our offensive line. Ronnie Stanley's healthy. We drafted Tyler Linderbaum. We signed Morgan Moses. Kevin Zeitler's coming back. And the biggest question mark is, will he return to his 2019 form, or was 2019 the best we're ever going to see from him? And it sounds crazy because he's only 25.
Yeah, I know, and it's something, and that's and like you said, even to your point as far as like NFL age is so weird. Like we'll think of a guy, at 25 is like a wildly veteran in a sense, and then like a 30, almost in some case, unless you're Tom Brady who just turned 45, we look at 30 as like
Right.
kind of prehistoric, like kind of prehistoric, kind of ancient. So yeah, most definitely. So, your thoughts and just the outlook on the Ravens defense this season. I mean, offense. Pardon me, the offense.
Um, I'm excited about the offense, honestly, because like just alluded to, the offensive line is healthy for the first time in probably 2 years. Ronnie Stanley's missed the better part of the last 2 seasons. He got hurt against Pittsburgh in November of 2020, and he's been on the field one game since then. And we didn't draft any wide receivers this year. So we are rocking with a wide receiver crew where the oldest wide receiver is 25 years old. And that is, incredible in today's NFL, where we have nobody proven at the wide receiver position that has any NFL, I guess, legitimacy. Rashad Bateman's a first round draft pick from last year. He played great when he came back, but he missed the first 8 or 9 weeks. And we got to see what he's made of. Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, Tylan Wallace are all mid-round draft picks from the last couple of years. Now is the time to see what they're really about. We all know Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in football. The guy is incredible. And we drafted Isaiah Likely, who is his backup. And we drafted Charlie Kohler, who is another backup tight end from Iowa State, but he has a sports hernia that he needs surgery for. The biggest thing I'm looking to is the running backs. I talked about this, at length the last couple of shows I've done, where J.K. Dobbins is coming back from a torn ACL. So is Gus Edwards. And that's our bread and butter right there. That 1-2 punch right there in 2020. If you can remember back, that was incredible. That was thunder and lightning right there. And the fact that we don't have either one to start the season, we're relying on Justice Hill, who's coming back from a torn Achilles, Corey Clement, who's been bouncing around the league the last couple of years, Mike Davis from the Atlanta Falcons, and then we drafted Tyler Beatty in the 6th round out of Missouri. So that's after what we went through last year at running back with Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray and Tyson Williams, it was just kind of like I thought we were going to kind of get this shored up, and Corey Clement and Mike Davis aren't much different from Latavius and Devontae. I know they're different, style players, but we need those. We need J.K. and Gus back. And I really don't think that Gus is going to be ready. They've been really kind of hush hush on. I'm sorry, I had my daughter here. Yeah, she. So he's been relatively quiet on his injury front. J.K.'s been more vocal, saying that he's going to be back. According to some of the local media, he should be back on Tuesday. But that's the outlook on the offense, really. I'm kind of curious to see how the running backs play, because if this offensive line is healthy and Lamar's back full swing, you can put me or you back there and we could rush for 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. So we'll talk about the other side of the ball. So your thoughts and also outlook on the Ravens defense this season.
The defense is going to be a different look this year. We let go of Wink Martindale after a lengthy amount of time here as a position coach and as our defensive coordinator. He's now with the New York Giants. We have Mike McDonald coming back. He was our linebackers coach for a good number of years, and then he went to Michigan last year to be the defensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh. And he has a different defense. I did a little bit of due diligence and watched some tape from Michigan, and he seems to be one of those guys that isn't afraid to, put different personnel out there. He doesn't throw the kitchen sink at you a whole lot like Wink does. Justin Houston, we re-signed him as a pass rusher. He's going to be back. We have David Ojabo, who we drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. He should be back by December. If not, he'll be healthy next year. Um, I'm so sorry.
You good. You good.
um, we have Odafe Owe, who is coming off of a really solid rookie campaign. He kind of hit that quote unquote like rookie wall last year around the end of the season with 2 or 3 games left, where he was just on fire, and then he just kind of crashed and was ineffective for the last couple weeks. He missed week 18 last year, and we just lost Vince Beagle to a torn Achilles. He's a backup linebacker. We were kind of expecting him to be a kind of do it all linebacker, inside, outside, special teams. Um, Obviously, our secondary, if they're healthy, if everybody's healthy, if Marcus Peters is back, Marlon Humphrey's back, we got Marcus Williams, we got Kyle Hamilton, Tony Jefferson. We got some pieces in the secondary to where everybody can make this click. This is going to be a dangerous secondary. It's going to be I hate using the word no fly zone because that is so often overused, but it's going to be a good defense this year. I'm not saying they're going to be the best in the NFL. It really relies on the pass rush, and we brought back Calais Campbell for inside pass rush. We re-signed Michael Pierce after a couple years away from the team. He's a good, solid inside pass rush presence. We've also re-signed our former defensive lineman Brent Urban, and we drafted Travis Jones, who is a monster 6'4", 340-pound nose tackle out of UConn in the 3rd round. He's been making some waves at camp. So it really just relies on the pass rush. I think we're going to have to add another edge guy to complement Houston and Owe. I believe that we're going to probably try to kick the tires on Jason Pierre-Paul again. We had him in Baltimore for a visit last month. Couldn't get it done because of money. But I do think that it's going to be one of those situations where we add somebody in camp, whether it is JPP or we wait for a surprise salary cap release and pick up somebody along the lines there.
Absolutely. So we had, obviously 17 game season, 18 weeks all to combine. So I know I always tell people, hey, is it a game that you got circled on the calendar? But I know it's that can be more than just one. So maybe if you got more than one, maybe two, maybe 3 games that you got circled on the calendar for this Ravens team this season.
Tampa Bay. That's going to be a good game. If both teams are at full strength, that is going to be a very good game. They have Julio Jones, Mike Evans. They might have Chris Godwin back by then. They still got Leonard Fournette and Tom Brady, and that defense is still crazy good. And that's one of the games I've been looking forward to because that's just going to – I love playing Tom Brady. Even though he's diced us a million times, I still love watching Tom Brady play against the Ravens. Cincinnati. I have a disdain for Cincinnati Bengals fans because of last year. They go to the Super Bowl, they lose, and then on top of all that, they decide that they want to be so pretentious and so arrogant for losing a Super Bowl. And then they put up 85 points on us in 2 games. But what they failed to realize is that both times they played us, we were so beaten down, and we had FedEx truck drivers playing cornerback, and they just think that they're going to run the North. And with us coming back at full strength, we're going to be right back in the dogfight of the AFC North. So I want the get back with the Cincinnati Bengals. Both of those games, I want them both. Of course, I always like a good Ravens Steelers game, but Cincinnati and Tampa Bay are 2 that I'm really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see what we got next. So, actually, the $60 million question. In 2022, the Baltimore Ravens will finish.
That is a good question. I talk about this in a lot of my group chats with my homeboys and everything like that. For me to sit here and say that we're going to go 14-3 or 15-2, that's facetious. And on a more realistic scale, I got us going 12-5. I think we're going to get back to the playoffs. This is all predicated on health. Now, if we're banged up again, I think we can, make it work because that's what we always do. We were in the playoff race until the very last week last year, but I do think that it's going to be a 12-5 kind of year. You can probably go either way with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I think we probably split with Cincinnati, even though I want both of those back bad. We split with Cincy, we split with Pittsburgh, we probably split with Cleveland. Um, you know, we play the AFC East this year. Buffalo's going to be tough. Miami's going to be tough. New England's going to be tough. So I I would say 12-5. That's a conservative pick. A lot of people are going to say we're over. I've seen it on social media and a bunch of Ravens fan groups. We're going to be 14-3. We're going to have the first round bye in the NFL playoffs this year, and all this stuff. And it's just kind of like, where are you guys seeing that we're only going to lose 3 games? The AFC is absolutely stacked this year, and we're not playing any slouches. That is the biggest thing right there. Is we're not playing slouches, and everybody forgets that Cincinnati is still a good football team, even though they're arrogant. I know that they got one of the best offenses in the NFL. Their defense is young. They fixed their offensive line. Cleveland's going to have Deshaun Watson if his appeal gets denied. Um, Pittsburgh, their quarterback situation is questionable at best, but they're still a good football team. They still have Najee Harris. They still have Chase Claypool. They still have Deontay Johnson, Pat Fryermuth. They have a good offense as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be a cakewalk because we're healthy. We have a lot of tough games, and it's just one of those things where we just got to make sure that we're healthy. That is the most important thing. So I think 12-5 is a pretty fair prediction. I think we're going to be back into the thick of things as long as the health of our superstars is in good standing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll put a bow on this Baltimore Ravens preview. So what we head on out, Matt, plug in your social media and upcoming projects, what you got going on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I am a writer for StadiumRant.com. I write for Flock the North on their NFL page. I have a Flock the North podcast through StadiumRant.com as well. And I have my own podcast, Bearded, Wholesome, and All Things Baltimore, where I do one-on-one interviews with local musicians, athletes, politicians, entrepreneurs, business owners. So I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, working on a couple things in the next calendar year. Hopefully, getting a studio of my own and possibly starting my own website. But I appreciate you letting me plug that, man. This has been a great conversation. It's an honor to come on the show. I'm a fan.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate it, and and definitely appreciate you for coming through, and always, Beltway brethrens, we'll have quite yet a rivalry, but
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't have anything against you guys down in DC. A lot of people in Baltimore do. We don't have any bearing on each other. We play each other in the preseason and then once every 4 years in the NFL regular season schedule, man. I like what you guys got going on down there. I just hope everything comes together for you guys. I really want to see you guys return back to prominence. A couple of my coworkers are very big Commanders fans, and that's just one of those things where once you guys find that quarterback, it's a wrap. You guys are going to be right back in the thick of things. And I know you guys got a good offensive line. You're young, you got some good young running backs. I'm excited to see how you guys play this year because I can't stand the Eagles. I can't stand, the Giants are always, they're always going to be the Giants to me. we whooped
Yeah.
their tails in the Super Bowl
Super
20
Bowl.
years
Yep.
ago.
Yep.
So and the Dallas Cowboys are the most overrated football team in the entire NFL.
I
They
agree.
that's crazy, man. How they still consider themselves America's team, and they haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years.
Right.
You know,
And yeah. Uh-huh.
Dak Prescott ruined this quarterback market for everybody. He was the first one to 40 million,
Yeah.
undeservingly. I wish I could get paid $40 million to be bad at my job when it mattered.
Yeah, I tell you, its market is crazy. But yes, indeed. Definitely appreciate you, and hopefully, we like we say talk about the preseason. Hopefully when we come down there on August 27th, we can break that preseason streak. I know we tried last year, but y'all beat the brakes off us
That
last year. So
that is the most asinine thing to ever be proud of. The preseason is meant for working the kinks out, man. The fact that we haven't lost a preseason game in 5 years or 4 years or whatever it is, like that is just ridiculous to even be proud of. When people are like, "Oh, we're undefeated in the preseason," that's like getting a participation trophy. Everybody, that's just wild to me. I can't understand it, man. I've never understood that. And we were undefeated in the preseason last year, but we lost J.K., Gus, and Marlon and
oh
Marcus,
yeah,
and we lost half our team because of that.
that's true. Yeah,
J.K. tore his ACL against you guys.
yeah,
First
man. That,
drive.
yeah, first try that just about on the spot. Well, a lot of people have been getting injuries in that on that field. It's eerily close to a lot of other injuries.
I know that the Ravens segment's over, but I wanted to ask you because I do ask a lot of Commanders fans when I talk to them. How do you feel about the team potentially moving 140 miles south into Virginia?
To me, because I live out in Richmond, Virginia, so I live maybe
Closer,
about
okay,
a little bit closer. My biggest thing is long as it's in a radius where it's near like public transportation, where the metro station, long as it has access to the metro, because I think that's the best thing to do as far as just anybody who comes south, or even north, well, hey, you could just hop on the metro, and then you just get there almost still eerily similar to like how the Nationals are, where hey, you can just park your car at one of the places, hey, and then pretty much the train take you right into the stadium, because literally like when we're going to the Nationals, all you really have to do is just get off the Navy station, and that's exit, but to
right.
stop, it'll pull you right into, you can't get lost. So it's just one of the things where here versus I just want it more so it'll be accessible to everybody, because it's gonna be kind of difficult, the thing about like going, just like the traffic and all that. And then you think about it like, hey, if you can just have one place where everybody can kind of gather and take the train, and the train leads you to the stadium, it'll be a lot easier and less headaches, because that's really, I mean, honestly, that's really one of the main reasons why most people don't go to games, because of the traffic, and so
Do you think how old Redskins Stadium is, or the Commander Stadium? Do you think that has a part to play in it with how old it is and kind of run
oh
down?
yeah, I mean, and it's crazy thing is it's only been around since 1997, but in a weird way, it's ancient now, because obviously stadiums are being built now pretty much every like 15, 20 years. So yeah, it's kind of ancient. Yeah, and then you think about the other problems. Obviously, the sewer issue where the water came down, and then the fans, the railing came down in the Eagles game in December, where almost Jalen Hurts was maybe a few inches, a little bit inward. He could have suffered a catastrophic injury when that railing fell and all those guys fell on top of him. It really could have been catastrophic. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on there. They need to make a decision soon as far as making a stadium, because it's we're a laughing stock, and so yeah, I definitely think a stadium is definitely needed. So yeah,
And not to extend it too much longer or anything like that, but I'm digging the uniforms, man. I
yeah.
like that all black y'all gonna wear this year. That's that's cool, man. I have no ill will towards you guys down there. So it's just like, and I will say this: look, I'm a
Yeah.
correctional officer by trade. That's my day job, and
Hmm.
I work in the Maryland prison system. So a lot of the guys that are locked up are from D.C. and Virginia, and PG County, Montgomery County, and I really never interacted with a lot of Washington fans until I started working there, and then for
Hmm.
a while I was kind of like, I'm really starting to not like these guys because of their fans. But then I just realized it's just generations of hurt and letdown, and they're just
Yeah.
working through their issues, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And the same thing goes with the Ravens. Like I look at it just well run organization. I think probably might be some jealousy, honestly. A little bit of, brotherly love, but a little bit of sibling jealousy, where on the other side of the beltway, where team is ran well, even you see the transitions of power, especially like a guy like Ozzie Newsom's no longer there, but then you pick back up. Always get, I call them bargain deals. Like I was
Yeah,
like he can find. Like, you've always been great because I always look at Friday as the those bins at like Walmart, and they got $5 DVDs. Then at the bottom of it is like an Academy Award winning movie. You guys do that year in and year out. You guys pull those Academy Award winning $5 DVDs out of a pile of crap. So
that's true.
yeah, so I always commended what you guys do on that side, and and then the continuity. Obviously, having Harbaugh there, you guys have continuity in pretty much every in every, as far as leadership wise, as far as organizational. So of course, obviously, it feel like a musical chairs when it comes to organizational chairs. Where hey, who's we got somebody's gonna be left when the music ends. Somebody's gonna be on the floor because there's no more chairs left, and it's time to reopen and do everything all over. So yeah,
I do hope I do pull for you guys. Hopefully that you guys can get
yeah,
everything together. There's a lot going on with that organization, but I just hope that you guys get through it and return. When Washington is good for as a football team, it's a better NFL.
absolutely, yes, indeed. Definitely appreciate you, Matt. We hey, we gotta show our Beltway pride in this preview. So definitely appreciate you, Matt, for coming on and previewing the Ravens.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I love talking football, man. And this is a fun segment.
Yes, indeed. And we'll definitely get you on the Couch Coach Live on our regular schedule programming throughout the football season. So definitely, once again, appreciate you.
Hey, thank you very much. I'll be more than happy to come back on and talk it up with y'all.
Yes, indeed. And this wraps up the Baltimore Ravens preview. And we're going to continue our ninth annual Couch Coach Live preview on the next team. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. And we're out.